Footers are pretty much like headers, but use the data role of footer. So let's take a look at some of the options in jQuery Mobile for footers. So before we do that, I'm going to reformat my page just to make it a little more readable. So I'm tabbing some of these things in. Normally, I would just leave them all on the same line. And you also want to make sure in your projects that you put comments on all your closing diffs. When working with jQuery, we're going to be creating a lot of diffs, and sometimes it's difficult to be able to tell which ones we are working with. So this one doesn't really need to be on a separate line. So for right now, we'll just bring it up here. And these links could be indented just a little bit. So I'll indent them right there. This is links, and this is the closing for the page. So let's do that in other places. Here's another div for another page, a title here, and so let me add the closing comments for these diffs. This is the page. This is the header. This is the page. This is the header. This is the page again. And I'm also going to add a comment at the top of each page. So now that we've cleaned things up a bit, it's getting a little bit old, so I'm just going to delete everywhere where there's a flip transition. And let me do a search for flip. Looks like I got them all. Excellent. So now we're ready to copy this code. So let me go over here to my control group with all the links. I'll copy this, and I'll come down here, and I'm going to replace this link in the blog page. So let me go to the blog page. Here's our blog page. It used to have a link right there, and I'm going to get rid of it and instead paste our new control group that has all our links. So if I want that to be a footer, all I have to do is change this control group right here to be a data role of footer. And we get these nice looking links that are formatted like a footer. So any links inside a data role footer will automatically display as inline next to each other. When working with toolbars like footers, they are displayed within the normal flow of the document. So you can see that since we only have one short line, our footer is right next to that content. If we want them to be at the bottom of the page or at the top of the page, we can have them stay in place by adding a data position of fixed. So let me do that. Data position equals fixed. And now that goes to the bottom of the page. It'll even scroll with the content. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to switch over to Chrome, and I'm going to go to this website and grab just some of this text right there, copy it. I'll switch over, and I'm going to replace this line right here that says this is our blog with a couple of copies of that text for right now. So now when I scroll it down, you can see that the header, because it doesn't have a position of fixed, scrolling with the content. The footer stays in place, which is kind of nice. That's only going to work on browsers that support the fixed positioning attribute. So in browsers that don't, the positioning will behave as this top header is behaving right now. So what I need to do is, let me get rid of this text, and I'll add this data position fixed to all of our headers and footers. Now you can also add another attribute called data full screen equals true if you want the headers and footers to be able to disappear to show the content behind it. So let me do that to show you how it works. I'm in the blog page right now. So in addition to adding data positioning fixed, I'm going to add a data full screen equals true. And I'll add it to both the header and the footer. And now when I click on this document, notice that the header and the footer go out of view. And when I click back on, it comes into view again. That's kind of cool. It's especially useful when you're displaying a photo that really needs to be displayed in full screen. I'm going to take that out. I don't really need those for this project. So footers along with headers are part of a category of UI elements called toolbars. They don't have any padding by default. So if you want to add some additional padding to this bottom footer, you can create a class called UI bar. So let's do that to show you what it looks like. So right here, I'm going to add a class of UI bar, and that gives it just a little more padding around each of our buttons. Now we can display our elements in a different look that's more like what you would see at the bottom of an iPhone or an Android application by making what we call a nav bar. So I'm going to go ahead and add another div right here. And the data role is going to be navbar. And you can see right now nothing because I don't have anything within the navbar. So I'm going to copy these links and I'll put them inside the navbar. I'm going to indent them as well. So it looks a little bit different. These looks like buttons now. I no longer need the UI bar class, so I'm going to get rid of it because I don't want that extra space right there. And I need to put the individual links within an unordered list. So I'll need to create an unordered list here. And then each link should be within a list item and should be closed. So let me do that. List item for each one of these. And I need to close my unordered list and make sure I put a comment here. This is going to be my navbar. So that's looking pretty good. And let's click around to some of our other pages to see what happens. So I'll go back home. So right now the blog looks really good. Our other pages could really use this new and improved navigation that's on the blog page. So I want to grab this footer. And this is not really links anymore. It was links on the home page, but here it's a footer. So I'll change that comment and I'll grab this footer and paste it at the bottom, replacing this link right here on every one of our pages. So let's navigate now back to videos. We'll go to videos, photos, tweets, blog. Now it might be nice to add a home button right here. The navbar supports up to 5 buttons. So we'll add a link to our home page and we'll call it home. And we'll even give it a data icon of home. So this is right now the tweets page. We're on the blogs page over here. So I'll click on that. We can see the home button right there. So we'll just need to add that list item to all of our navigation. So right there at the top of all of them, just add the home by pasting it. And that's fine. So let's go back to our home, refresh, click on blog, shows us all the different links. Go to the blog. We're already on the blog. So that's another thing. You may want to turn off the ability for people to click on the buttons on each page. So if I go here to the home page, everything's fine there. If I go to the blog, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the link to the blog because I'm already there. So I'll just put in a pound sign. So now if I'm in the blog, if I try to click on this, it's not going to really take me anywhere. If I click on videos, it does take me somewhere else. So let's go over here. And this is the videos page. So I'll get rid of the videos part of the link here. Scroll down. This is photos. So I'll get rid of photos here. And this is tweets. So I'll get rid of tweets there. So save it. Blog, videos, photos, tweets. Now something that's happening that's maybe a little disconcerting is as I'm clicking to these different pages, I can see my header and footer sort of fade out with the rest of the content. It would be really nice if they kind of stayed in place and I didn't see them flickering like that. So you could do that by adding a data ID tag to the headers and the footers. And as long as the ID tags are the same, it's not going to animate in between them. So I need to do that on the footer. And we just need to add a data -ID of something. And we'll say view source underscore footer. Close that out. And I'm just going to add that to all of my navigation. So I'm at the very bottom of the page. This is the tweets section. So I'll come down here and in my footer right there, I'll add the VS footer ID or the VS footer data ID to the Flickr page and come over here and same thing on the footer. Just add that right there. Again, on the footer, add that. And the home page doesn't really need it because it's not part of our navigation. So let's click on those now and save it. So I have data role footer. So blog, videos, photos. Oops, I put this on the navbar here. So right there. Let's check it out now. So, okay, blog, videos is still flickering. Let's make sure that I put that in the right place. Because if it goes in the wrong place, then what you see happening happens. So videos and blog, videos, they have to match perfectly. So here's the videos page. Footer is right here. And it looks like I did it again on the nav bar. So let me go ahead and make it on the footer itself. think that one's okay. Let's test it out. See, blog is okay. Video, see, it's not flickering anymore, at least the footer. The header's still doing it, but the footer is not. So we'll need to go ahead and do that with the footer as well. It's okay for the home to flicker because it's going to have just a different display. So this is looking pretty good down here. So let's go now and do the same thing on all of our headers. And we'll find the data role header. We'll paste that. Obviously, we'll need to change this to header and copy that into all of our headers to prevent them from flickering. We'll leave the home page alone because it's just a completely different page. So on data role header, paste that right there. The videos, data role header, paste it right there. Photos, data role header, paste that right there. I think that's all of them. So, yep, the tweets are right there. So let's go ahead and go to the blog. And now from the blog, we'll go to videos. So this is not flickering. And then go to photos. That's a little bit better user interface than before. Once you get the hang of doing headers and footers, you'll also get the bonus of learning navigation bars and buttons that you can use in other places.